His name is Bob Lobel, and I think people know. It's here for Bob Lobel.
Wow. It's really a little overwhelming. You got to understand, a little overwhelming, especially starting with last Saturday. You're going to the castle,
the New England Cannabis Convention,
and having all those people around the block, and then going in and just being part of that. There were a lot of people there, and having gone there just to learn about things, see people, talk to people, get to know at least here's my card type of thing to the people that are running the show, and find out what's going on. How come I can get a prescription but I can't get the medicine?
Yes.
That kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
So
when I saw you,
I needed just answers. That's why I was there. And then of course you guys gave me the honor of being the keynote speaker of the first Cannabis.
The opening speaker.
My kids think I'm really cool now. You got to understand that. It's the first time ever that they think I'm cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing. And once I saw you and talked to you and realized you were
I'm sitting in the back of the room. Yeah. I'm minding my own business.
And I wouldn't take no, would I?
No, I was sitting there. And, no.
Mike was like, Bob Lobel is here. Bob Lobel
I get him on the stage.
He's here.
No. He needs medical marijuana, and he's got the same condition I do, and I love Bob Lobel. I mean, I was when you said to me, we started talking. You said I think I would be a good spokesperson for medical marijuana. I said, yes! You said it to the right person. Me, I can make that happen. And like, I'm looking to do things. And this was like it was like, Ferone was like, maybe we should do it a little later and organize it. I was like, no, right now! Bob is here! He said yes, he definitely wants to do it.
Well, I just think as long as as long as it could help, I mean, you just don't want to walk in there and say, but when you're in issues, when you have pain issues, and have had a tremendous amount of surgeries, and there you are at that point in your life when you're tired of taking drugs, and you get to a point where drugs really has been the dark side, and you've got to find something else that helps. You just kind of I think this works. I know it works. I know it does work. I know it works for me. Although I've been very kind of tiptoeing through the tulips here about, or tiptoeing through the plants or whatever the case may be. Just not overdoing it. I need to know what I'm doing, what the doses are, and just to make it work, and not abuse it, but just use it. And that's that.
And I'm going to tell you this, and I think other people today will tell you, you came to the right place for that. We organized
it was good. I was very cool. I can't believe it. I would talk to my wife right here. I said, look around. Okay, I believe I'm here tonight. No, I can't. You people are obviously very cool. Yeah. And
your wife Suzanne's
I'm
here.
Flattered. Yes, she's a doctor.
We'll share for her. She's a doctor too. We have 2 doctors here right now.
She's a family therapist, and whatever. She's pretty damn good.
She is, and it's you look great. Like you're like just talking to you and seeing you interact with people. You are the same guy that I just love watching on Sports Final. For like when we couldn't get at Bridgewater State, we had to go in other people's rooms. We had to get new antennas. We were like writing people like we need to. How do we get? We need cable
to up your
in
signal
here.
now.
There's cable television. Why isn't it in the dorms at Bridgewater State? We need to watch Sports Final.
Sick, isn't it?
We loved your show.
Really?
It was not much to watch. Like Saturday nights, you were funny. And
we had a good time. We had good people. We set out before the show. The people we had on there, they'd bring their A game, and it was really fun. They knew what we were looking for, whether it was the truth or not. It didn't matter. It's just a matter of being argumentative and bringing up good points. But that was a while ago. All of a sudden we've morphed into this radio studio where we're in the cutting edge of the future here.
Yeah. So let's get into that. How did you get to this point where you said to me, it's pain. You told Chris Ferone. Chris Ferone, did the open the forum with you on stage, and you talked about the pain. I don't think people quite, we didn't have enough time to really get into it like we could flesh it out today. What happened to you? You've had a number of spinal fusion surgeries. I know how serious those are because I'm contemplating one. That's my end game. Like, I can take the pills. I don't do the pills. They offered me cortisone even, but my doctor's like, why do cortisone if the medical marijuana is working right now, even if you have the nerve pain? And spinal fusion is really the only end game for me, but it's so risky. I'll miss so much work, and you never know if it's going to work. And how many have you had now? Well, tell us about what happened to you, why you need this medicine.
I think I've had a total of 4. I mean, 3 legitimate ones, and one you can just throw in as a starter. And started out with the cervical, 3 to 6, went to lumbar, and then I went to the whole thoracic and it was just, the really problem was nerve damage, and that's really what took place, and that's what, the pain, it's almost like having diabetic pain, which is on the nerves on the bottom of your feet.
Yeah, I know all about that.
That's just kind of someplace where it shows up. Hands, feet, whatever, and other issues. But I went to, pain clinic, Brigham and Women's Pain Clinic, where they insert, there are 2 things. They can do a stimulating thing
into the nerve,
or they can insert something in your body, and it pumps a very small amount of drugs into your spine. Dilaudid and a couple of just really, but you don't need much because it goes right to your spine. It doesn't have to go through your whole body to get there. So I have one of those pumps in there, and it only has to be refilled. Next July it has to be refilled. It's bizarre, but it works okay.
It helps.
It's just, yeah, I know it's bizarre.
But what about the medical marijuana? You've been using this now.
And this was it.
Help?
That
helps?
The medical marijuana?
Yeah.
And I sure, yeah.
And how have you experimented? Have you used this
No, I'm a neophyte. You have to understand. I'm on the cutting edge, and this is the cutting edge.
Okay.
I don't grow it. I don't,
Yeah. I don't grow it. I don't.
Yeah.
You weren't using it until you had this incident with the pain.
This is true.
And how have you used it?
My daughter, who is out in Oregon, where they're fairly more enlightened,
right,
when it comes to things like this. She was explaining to me how sophisticated. I think that was the word she used. How sophisticated. She said, "Dad, you have to come out here and look at these shops. You just have to go in and see the packaging and see, where they are in terms of doing the right thing." And then I'm not going to get myself into trouble or anybody else. But you know what? We're still, unfortunately, on that point where. I'm not going to tell you how she got it to me, but what difference does it make?
You came across the medicine.
Right,
yeah. So, yeah. And it really worked. And she kind of taught me or told me, okay, this is for that, this is for that, this is how you use this, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I felt pretty stupid, but on the other hand, that's the generation she grew up in. That's the way it goes. We don't get to pick our parents, It happens. So, anyway, that's kind of the way it started. And I don't know what else to say except that I've really been watching this movement grow. No pun intended.
It's always good when that happens.
And in Massachusetts, it's been so frustrating because you can get a prescription, but you can't get the stuff the prescription's for.
Yes.
And I had my primary physician, and I'll give her credit. I never thought she'd write me a prescription. I've talked to her a couple of times about
this is in Massachusetts?
Yeah, in Needham. I never thought she'd write me a prescription, but I went in there and said, look, please, I know there's no place for me to go. I could take it to Rhode Island and have a shot of talking them into it. I could send it to my daughter in Oregon and see if they can legitimize it. So that's what happened. My daughter sent me all the papers, Oregon papers, legally. I filled them out, sent them a check for $250, sent the prescription. No. Specifically, the doctor was not registered in Oregon, so, we'll keep the check, but we're sending everything else back.
Thanks.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that, it was trying to get it, but...
The access isn't there. And that's something that we're going to talk to you about today, because we've been talking about that for a year plus. I've been writing about it. Now the Globe's finally starting to cover it. But we have the Mass Patients Advocacy Alliance here today, the group that's actually trying to get access. They're trying to address this at the State House. They have a bill up there that has been put up by some elected officials, has 16 co-sponsors. It's going to get a hearing, and I know that they want you to speak. So we've set you up with that. We also have Healthy, Heady Lifestyle to give you more education on medical marijuana use, some things you were asking about earlier. We also have another doctor who's an expert She was at the New England Cannabis Convention. She was on 2 different panels. Dr. Uma, she's a big star. Say hello,
She is
Dr.
sitting
Uma.
right here.
Hi, everybody. It's truly an honor, and thank you very much for being here.
Let's turn your microphone on.
Bob's
Look at Bob.
Bob's like, what kind of amateur chop
I love it.
around
Yeah,
here?
thank you, Bob. Yeah,
I have more than one life.
Yes, we know. When a Hall of Fame broadcaster.
No, that's right. I didn't mean sorry to do that.
let's
No,
get-
that's beautiful.
We love
That's
it. You
awesome.
fit right in. You are a young jerk. This is us. I love it. So, yeah, we're the Young Jurks, and Bob, we have so many questions for you. I got one. This New England Cannabis Convention was an amazing event. I have this, like you said to me you wanted to be the spokesperson. I'm going to give you the whole thing on the show from the cast is everyone that's here. It's like, how can we do that? Because I think we should do it, number one. And number two, and I think we can. And how much you want to do, let's find out, because I'm going to offer you a million ways. One way. We had this last New England Cannabis Convention. I'm the programming director. I want you to book the next panel, a Bob Lobel panel, where you bring up a couple friends, whoever, media, celebrities, news, anyone that you think would support you on this, your wife, any, family, and maybe there are some medical marijuana users that we don't know about, that you know about, that kind of thing. I want to see if you can, let's do this official. We're going to continue to do these with Dig Boston. I want you to be a big part of it. Would you be interested in that, number one?
Of course I would, but I think the only thing I'd ask you is that it's got to be helpful.
Yes.
It's got to be.
And I'll be there to help.
It's got to be legit. It's got to be
exactly.
helpful. And, that's all. I mean, I think we can push the can down the road a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that there's something about Massachusetts that doesn't surprise me, that you can get a prescription, but you can't get the drug.
Yes.
And that's where are you from? Massachusetts. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
And that's that's the fight, and that's what we need you to help. We drive that home, drive it home for us that you don't have the medicine. Why should we have to go to not totally legal sources when we all voted yes and it happened, and now this DPH is just taking it away?
I think that what you've done so far has been working slowly, but
Yes.
working, and you got the right people. I'd be honored, flattered to be part of it. I just don't want you to expect them to react because I have this persona. Do you know what I'm saying?
No, your persona, you are beloved, and when we represent you in the real way that you're doing this today, this is, no one can deny what you have serious back pain. It works. You look at the amount of work you did.
Well, I didn't tell you what happened. Well, the pain was stuff. Should I tell you about the things that have been replaced? I didn't do that, right? I did 2 knees.
You didn't tell us about the knees.
yeah.
You told us about the back, but not the knees. Tell us about that too.
2 knees been replaced, not at the same time, like 5 years in between. 2 rotator cuffs that are still damaged. Okay, and then the back, the fusions, and then the stuff. The 2 things that really probably are going to prevent me from walking without crutches. I was outside feeding the birds in our backyard, and I fell down, and I broke the head of the femur on my right side.
Oh,
it was
it's a
like,
huge bone.
and it was cold. Seriously, I don't know how come my wife was home, but if she hadn't been home, I could still be there laying on the ground.
Yeah.
It was that, and then that was brutal. They had to put pins in that one. Less than a year later, I fell down again in the bathroom upstairs. I did the exact same thing to the other head of the femur. Cracked it, so they did almost exactly the pins on the other side, matching pins. So it was all these things, and that really was those things were the killers. Those were the really painful ones. And I remember going over in the ambulance. They came to the ambulance twice. It was ridiculous. I mean, might as well just built a highway to our house. EMT. I kept saying, just come and give me something for the pain. Just give me some, I don't care, Toradol, anything you got. Just give it to me. Because I just, Anyway, here I am. It all worked out. I still have residual pain. The bottom of my feet are relentless.
Yes.
Yeah, they have a mind of their own.
Yes. They
In the middle of the night.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Suzanne, just in the middle of the night. They just
Pulsing,
won't
hurting,
shut
throbbing.
up.
I know.
I have to, I say you want to know this stuff.
I know, I do.
I have to leave them. I have to I can't believe some of this stuff works, but I just have to like lean them over the bed.
Yep.
And they stop.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why, but I'm not going to ask. I'm going to just do it. So, I'd like to be able to get up and take some medical marijuana.
Yeah.
At 3 o'clock
if
in
it
the
works.
morning.
If it works for you, like, why not? I mean,
Okay, that's my sad story, and that's it. But you know what?
That's the thing, though.
I'm lucky to be here. I can drive. I can do a lot of things. And I just don't expect to be able to walk, but I've come to grips with that.
That's what's so important, though, about that is that you live this life every day, and there's so many people out there that do the same exact thing, right? There's so many people that are in your exact same position that have, and that's why it's so important for you to come out and say, hey, listen.
You know what? That's great. If that is, in fact, the motivation, I'll definitely be carrying that flag.
And you'll be surprised,
That's how I see it.
I know. I think that's really well put.
And
Sure, if I can say, hey, look, here's the way it is. It doesn't have to be this way.
No.
But I'm on your side. All these people are on your side. Why do you think we're here?
Right. A lot of people don't feel comfortable to talk about it.
Oh, no, not at all.
And here you are,
We were talking about, grandparents that wouldn't even touch the stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, my own grandparents. We're talking about my grandparents, and both of them would be able to benefit from it. And it's just, it's shunned away because from their culture, from their generation, it was bad. It was reefer madness. It was, and my grandfather was a drug rep for, 40 years. And so he was getting mainline misinformation from the company that he worked for. And now my grandmother won't try it because, well, he'll be upset, and so they both can be helped.
And
a
lot of the people up at the State House are that generation. And that's why I think having you up there, they've seen you on TV for how many years, Bob? I mean, you did, I think, almost 20. How many years were you at NBC, CBS?
About 30, but I wasn't drugged up all the time when I was on TV.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that.
No, it was just, we're here now. It's, it's post-TV.
I know. But people know. I mean, they've seen you. They know you. The thing I want to do for you today is we have a doctor and we have Healthy Heady Lifestyle. They're all about the education. Are there questions you have? I know there were questions you had earlier about dosages. Your wife had questions. Do you have questions for them?
I tried to talk to Suzanne. I said, well, this is what wins my daughter. I said, this is what she said, well, percentages of THC, and I couldn't remember the other. CBD, which is the pain stuff and which is the get high stuff, and I just, for lack of conversation, I guess that's the way I refer to it. I mean, it's not a medical way of saying to get the pain stuff or the get high stuff.
That's how it works, though.
It is how it works, right?
That's how it works,
Yeah.
So tell me which is which.
Okay. Bob, first of all, I want to say thank you very much. And one of the things that you're bringing up, which I'm seeing in my patient population, is this medicine is not for everybody, but it should be the first line and not the last line as an alternative, number one. And it is improving quality of life and giving hope.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
That's good.
I have seen patients get off all their narcotics, if not at least reduce their medications and not have the side effects, and they're not zombified. I don't know if there's a word like that.
It's pretty good now. There is now.
Because truly, they are living in this out-of-state body. They don't have a quality of life, not only for themselves. They feel like they're a burden to themselves. They're a burden to their families, their children, and society. And now we see... And I have seen all generations now. I've seen ages from 18 to 96. And you mentioned something. Your daughter taught you about this, which is such a nice way that we're seeing generations where I see the parents bringing the kids in, or the kids are bringing the parents in, their grandparents, even great-great-grandchildren bringing their grandparents in for this medicine.
I think that's really cool. I've absolutely thought about that, Doctor, that I thought, that's so sweet that, I'm not telling my daughter, don't do that. I don't want you to get caught with marijuana.
And we're not calling you a pothead either.
Yeah, I don't want you to get bailed out of jail or have me come out there. But on the other hand, she's taking care of me.
Absolutely.
Trying to.
I think it's wonderful parents are really listening to their kids, too, which is another thing. We're getting correct information. It's not reefer madness information. I always say I want to come up with a lecture that says, madness or medicine. It is truly medicine. It is not madness. And I think it's criminal what is happening in this country and in this state. I just wanted to clarify one thing, just for the record, because I'm very important about using the right terminology. Yeah. doctors can't give a prescription for this medicine because it's in Schedule 1. Doctors can write a prescription for things that are in Schedule 2 to Schedule 5. So right now, cannabis is in Schedule 1 along with LSD, heroin, and ecstasy. I mean, that's insane. Those medicines kill people, and zero people have died from cannabis. Zero.
Right.
Dr. Uma, you're with Uplifting Wellness, right?
Uplifting Health and Wellness in Natick, Massachusetts.
Thank you, Dr. Uma.
How do you get that changed? How do you get cannabis out of that number 1 category?
Well, guess what? I don't think it belongs in any category, and that's coming from Dr. Uma, because all those other categories kill people, and cannabis kills nobody.
Exactly.
So why should it be in a category? First of all, for people that don't know, these schedules mean that there's 3 categories that we look at. The potential for abuse, is there medical use, and is there medical research? Well, a lot of people don't know this, but the U.S. government has a patent for this medicine since 2003. So they've kept it in Schedule 1, saying that there's no medical use and that there's no medical research. And meanwhile, they have the patent, which shows all the research.
Which we know. I mean, we know it's a medicine. It's been medicine even before all this, recently happened, where we started to change the laws. We have calls. Maybe we should take some calls. We have more questions for Bob Lobel. And we'll have Holly from Healthy Heady Lifestyle. Maybe she can give Bob some tips.
Pointers, absolutely.
Yeah. So we'll call her. Who's calling in right now? We're going to know what's going on.
It's one of your favorite callers.
I think I know who it is. Is it Donna Hackett?
Yes.
You're a medical mom survivor. What's up, Donna?
Nothing. I had to call in on your special show tonight with Bob.
Of course. And so what do you think so far? You have a question for Bob or comment?
No, I just want to let him know it's outstanding that he's coming out in support for us. And I can't thank him enough, because while there's many moms like me and people like Mike and Holly, there's very few like yourself, Bob, that, people respect and listen to and admire. And, Boston's such a big sports town. My husband's an absolute sports fanatic.
Yeah.
He wasn't impressed that I spoke at the convention until he heard that you were there. And some Mike guy that he listens to on the radio.
Mikey Adams.
Then it was a big deal.
Yeah. Then they showed up. Exactly. I know. My family, too. They love sports. And for me, it was, too, because, I had one of the kids. He's not a kid anymore. He's a coach now. I used to be a coach at Triton High School wrestling. If people know that, I was a head coach. I was an all-star wrestler. I had school records in track. That's how I hurt my back in wrestling. And basically, I had one of the kids that I hadn't even met before, but I had heard about him, and he took second in the state a couple of years ago, and he's a coach now, and he was at the convention, and it was just there was an athletic feel to it. It's great to see athletes coming out, and thank you, Bob, for bringing that.
No, I just would say this. Thank you for saying what you said on the phone, but I would only like to put it in context of, it's like opportunity. It's not an opportunity of talent. It's an opportunity of availability. Whatever has happened career-wise is really totally irrelevant, except for if it's allowed me to be in a position, or anybody to be in a position of now using that opportunity and using that awareness for good and positive, then bring it on.
Hey. And you've always done that. I mean, you've always done the charity work. You did so much charity work.
You know what? Yeah. I'm pretty selfish. I can. I'm not believe me.
You're so humble. I love it, though.
I got a few flaws.
Yeah.
Just go ask him.
Ask the rest of everyone else.
Go ask Suzanne. She's over there in the corner.
She's smiling.
We all got him.
Thank you very much for calling.
Thank you, Donna. And to say more about Donna, too, Bob, is she's a breast cancer survivor. She's been fighting for the stuff in Rhode Island, got the laws better. Their law wasn't as good at first. It's gotten much better because of Donna.
God bless you.
Thank you, Donna Hackett, for calling in. And 617-500-7100 is our phone number if you want to call in. Holly.
Yes.
Do you have any advice to Bob? Because he was asking about, about the edible situation and how does he know what he's using and how much to use and.
Well, as Dr. Nauma knows, it's very hard to kind of recommend what the best method of ingestion is for each patient, as it's different for each individual.
You could write out like a piece of paper. Okay, here's what I want you to put in your what do you call them?
In your mouth?
No.
Edible?
In
your edible?
No, the smoke.
You want to know about
vaporizer?
Vaporizer, yeah.
Why don't you tell us?
I'm not exactly.
You should use the vaporizer as opposed to the as to smoking. It's more efficient and more effective. You don't get all the good cannabinoids when you burn it or combustion. So we carry different vaporizers. We'd be happy to talk with you too more offline and kind of give you some hands-on training. That's what we do.
Yep.
Go through all that with you so that you can get the best method.
Everybody's out there listening and say, man, is he lucky he's going to get hands-on training?
Exactly. Steve and Holly.
He's going to get hands-on training and smoking dope. How about that?
That's what we do.
They go out to the house and they...
Wow.
We have another phone call. We should take the phone call.
Hello, caller.
This is Jeremiah from the Cannabis Society, Massachusetts.
Hey,
Hello, Jeremiah.
Hey, how's it going?
Awesome. Good to see you last weekend. Tell us what you think about the show and Bob Lobel.
Yeah, definitely. It was great to see you guys, too, last week. And I just want to say everybody on the show tonight is really holding it down. Everybody's speaking the truth. Bob's holding down, this is a medicine, and this is the way it should be. And Dr. Uma's always got the perfect knowledge. So everybody's really just doing the right thing.
Thank you so much. Thanks for calling in.
No problem.
We'll
and thanks for having Bob Lobel on, Mike, because this is great to have everybody get together.
Yeah, he's pretty happy about being here. Thanks.
I want to let you guys know we have an event coming up, the Cannabis Society, this Friday at Microsoft New England Research and Development. We're doing an event on cannabis genetics and testing. So we're having a couple labs and a few testing facilities come to talk about the technology that's emerging.
Awesome. I saw that online. I think everyone should check it out at the Microsoft Center. That's pretty amazing. Pro Verdi's going to be there. And the other one that comes in, what's the other group? I know. What is it?
MCR.
MCR Labs. Thank you, Uma, Dr. Uma. And I should know them. I hang out with them. Those guys are great guys, MCR Labs, and they're cutting edge. Thank you, Jeremiah.
No problem.
And actually, before I let you go, you still there?
Yeah.
Why don't you tell, I know that you probably have something to weigh in to Bob. The importance of him speaking out today.
Well, yeah, I mean, the Cannabis Society, we're just a nonprofit social club that we just get together and create events about once a month or every few weeks about cannabis in general. And everybody getting out and speaking about this as a medicine because, it's great because every individual that needs this needs it for their own specific reason. And everybody getting out behind this message is great. So I commend you, Bob, for coming out because it's not hard. It's hard for everybody.
Thank you.
To come out and say this. So,
I'm honored to be here. These guys have been great.
So, yeah, if anybody's interested in the Cannabis Society, you can check us out at cansociety.org and our events in and around the Boston area.
Thank you, Jeremiah.
Thanks,
no problem.
Jeremiah.
Have a good night, everyone.
You too.
Bye-bye.
We are the Young
Bye-bye.
Jurks on WEMF Radio. We're sitting here with legendary Hall of Fame, irreverent,
Careful.
guy that doesn't like
Don't go
compliments.
over the line here. Let's go.
Bob Lobel.
Right.
He's going to get up and walk out of here. You call him one more
This is
time.
the show for that, Bob. Because we're serious about it. I mean, we wouldn't say that. We don't say this about everybody. We're very honored to have you here, obviously. And Frank Capone over here.
Yeah, hey.
So we have more questions, too. I mean, we also wanted to bring Nicole. Nicole Snow is Mass Patients Advocacy Alliance Deputy Director. They have a bill at the State House, has 16 co-sponsors. This is one of the groups that was responsible for medical marijuana. Their Executive Director, Matt Allen, worked on that campaign. Question 3. This is the patients group in Massachusetts. They represent the patients at the State House with the policymakers, with the DPH. They worked with DPH, but then they got burned by DPH, and we lost our access. So now they're at the State House. They've had these moms that we know, Jill, Lisa, and who's Cindy. They have children that we know that are, basically having seizures at the State House.
We need to bring attention to the issue, and we've been doing it for so long, after so many years, and you can only beat your head against the wall for so long, and having you represent the older community and the, people that are in pain and bring attention to the real issue would be really huge to thousands of patients across Massachusetts.
Well, if you say so.
I absolutely believe so.
Yeah, no,
I would
100%.
I kind of also, believe in strategy
Yes.
in terms of presentation.
Yes.
And I'm not the kind of person that would beat your head against the wall and say, here, look at this. This is the way it really is. Now, I don't think that doesn't work for me, but it may work for other people. I think sometimes you just kind of have to give the opponents credit for at least showing up, and then you can say, look, this is what's really going on, and you got to, get in front of the train instead of being dragged by it.
Well,
So, I just think that, but
we're on the cutting edge now, and we're going to make a difference at the State House, I believe, at this next hearing.
you know what?
And
I'll probably be very nervous, but let's see what happens. That'll be an experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, that will be an amazing experience. And hopefully it'll work. Isn't that the idea?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the idea. Yeah, I'm already crafting the speech. It's like,
Yeah, let's hear that.
Thank you.
And I tell you what, the first thing I'll say is I represent an amazing number of people.
You do.
Not numbers, but they're amazing people.
And
You're right,
education.
yeah.
I think that's something that you're going to be able to bring about, Bob, and take the face, put a different face to this medicine.
I hope so.
Absolutely.
It's not about abuse, it's about use. It's just about doing the right thing, and it is for so many people.
But a medicine that works.
Yeah.
And nobody dies.
Am I overdoing it?
No, you don't.
No, absolutely not.
I mean, back pain. This is Dr. Uma can testify to this. They laugh like the Howie Carrs of the world. They're like, oh, people have back pain. He doesn't get it. But Howie Carr wants to come and check the bulge in my back. I'm still an athlete, even with this pain. But it's like, you know how the Chinese water torture? That's what this is like, except it's sharper, but it never goes away. It's just the pain. Sometimes it recedes, sometimes it's better, and then sometimes it gets worse. And it's always there. It's like, imagine having a headache all the time. You just don't feel as good. And what are the numbers of people that suffer? This is who you're representing the most, and especially athletes. How many have back pain
I would
daily?
say it's chronic, at least more than 50%. That's an easy percentage. But the problem is back pain affects so many people in their day-to-day life. It affects our whole world in occupational injuries. How many injured workers, how many people are out of work, and how many people are on chronic pain.
Or working hurt, like I do. I work 7 days a week. Everyone knows. But I have back pain every day. And I come home, I'm like,
But this is the beauty of this medicine. It's not that the pain is gone.
No.
It doesn't become your focus of your work. And the medicine is also working as an anti-inflammatory.
Definitely.
You had asked, Bob, before the difference between the sativas and the indicas. This is the way I remember it. I remember it simple things.
Yes.
S for sunshine, I for insomnia. So I think of it as indicas are for the nighttime. And then
put you to sleep.
Yes, and then the sativas are sunrise, so during the daytime. But my students help me remember it even better. They say indica is for in the couch.
Yeah.
You're in the couch.
And when you need to go to sleep. When the pain's really bad, you just need to sleep. And the sativa is good, like, for that, like, head. It's more like, it kind of gives you that edge on the head, too, and it feels a little better. A little more creativity if I'm writing. It's just been an amazing show already. I want to thank you again.
Let me see that.
You want to see the numbers?
Yeah. I just,
It's a snapshot.
Show them the numbers.
Yeah.
But we are the Young Jerks, and Bob Lobel's checking my numbers. He wants to know how many listeners we have.
I want your mics.
Not as
I want to know what your numbers are.
CBS Channel 4, like you did for decades.
I just never want to. I don't mind the numbers. I just don't want to see what they write. That's a big difference.
They love you. I mean, that's what you should see what they're writing today.
Okay, well,
there hasn't been one person that says Bob Lobel looks like an idiot doing this. I mean, Dave Wedge. Let's talk about.
Now you've just put an idea in their heads.
Yeah. Dave Wedge, he wrote for the Boston Herald for years.
Dave, yeah.
He writes for the Dig Boston sometimes. He's got the book coming out, Boston Strong.
Yeah, that's great.
It's going to be made a movie. He posted it on his Facebook, and like the whole local media went crazy. They were like, oh, "Wow, awesome!" Everyone loved it.
Really?
On Facebook, yeah.
You know what?
From New England Cannabis. I mean,
I know. You know what?
And today, it's even more. People love this today.
I don't know that that Facebook thing. I don't spend a lot of time on Facebook, but I know that it's there. It's on it. And I was in class, which I kind of co-teach at Salem State.
Oh, you do? You're up there?
Yeah, a couple times a week.
I just moved up there, right?
A couple times a week. And the co-teacher put her computer in front of me, and she says, "What's this?"
No, she saw it? Were the kids asking about it?
I told her, I said, you're the last person I would have thought
would have a problem.
That. I thought, one of these 25 kids would have told me, but no, they didn't. She's the one that took
So is she smoking too? That's what you got to ask her. Because I used to get worried about being in High Times way back, and I'd be like, if anyone ever noticed it in the real, straight world I was in, being a financial advisor at the time and still concerned about that, they would be smoking too, right?
I don't know. It's just very bizarre that I would not have found it myself because I just don't go on there.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of it, actually.
Yeah. I'm almost surprised more media hasn't picked it up yet. I think they will.
That's all right. We're done. We can move on to other things. It's not about me being at that meeting. It's about moving on from that.
Well, that's what we're doing. And you really do bring it. I mean, I know you're very humble, and you have a style. Yeah.
How did you even think about this as a medicine, Bob?
There was nothing else. I wasn't going back to pills. Mm-hmm. I think my wife would not have let me. She just really...
Thank God.
She's very...
I think there's such a need for education, number one. I just gave a lecture at a hospital nearby in Natick, and I asked how many there was about 50 physicians, and I said, how many of you know about the endocannabinoid system?
Yeah.
And not one of them raised their hands. And if I tell you the amount of resistance I'm facing to try to teach this in the medical schools among residents, I've been flatly told this is not needed. It is not imperative. And I'm like, how could this not be imperative when we've got 24 states, including District of Columbia, where medical marijuana is available? You mean to tell me those people are not working and in an environment? And this medicine improves the quality of life. I can't say this. And I always say cannabis is not an entrance drug. It's an exit drug from pharmaceuticals and narcotics. And I truly believe it.
It's a great, I don't want to reduce it to call it a line, but that's... In our business, when we say it's a great line, it's exactly what I mean. I don't
have a prescription pad in my office because I don't believe in it. And I think there's so much abuse out there that doctors and healthcare providers, our whole system is geared to prescription meds. And when we talk about this medicine, it's in Schedule 1. The only word I can say, it's criminal. And people need to ask, how could we keep this medicine away from children and adults and people of all ages?
Well, that's really, I've certainly been educated about Schedule tonight already.
Yeah, Schedule 1.
Yeah, good.
That's the thing about it, though, is you have this situation where...
You're not only a doctor. Yeah. Stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
That's my line. I say that. Yeah. You can't say that.
Oh, sorry.
I love what I'm doing, though, and I feel truly honored and blessed to be able to take care of patients like this.
Yeah, good.
Thank you.
They're the ones that are blessed.
Yes. And again, we still with Nicole Snow here. I want to bring up something, Bob. At the State House, you might want to consider, if these guys don't go along with us, you'll come up with a line now. Why can't we get politicians like that?
I'll be right. I don't know. It's never very far away.
That was something on the call.
Can you say that for us today? Why can't we get players like that? I love it. Why can't we get players like that?
Why can't we get players like that? It's very,
There you go. There you go.
Let me tell you about Paul Tucker, our state rep, Paul Tucker, how... things have been changed over at the State House. We got 20 new freshmen, and you said political strategy is very important. We do reach out to our legislators and, our group, the patients, and everyone did a great job. We got 16 co-sponsors. Actually, the snow worked in our favor. We got 9 during the 3 days at the beginning of the week. But, my state rep, Paul Tucker, just got into office, and he sat with me more than 3 times and discussed, what's going on with the medical marijuana situation in Mass. And at the time, he wasn't in office. He was talking to me as the Salem police chief. So he comes from a law enforcement perspective. And he was one of the first people to sign this bill. It was Frank Smizek that presented it, and Paul Tucker was the first person to sign the bill. And for me to sit down with a legislator, a new one, and discuss all of the parts and how this will create immediate access to patients. Like I said, we were talking about the caregivers.
And the problem.
And the problems that we're having with creating access. Massachusetts is actually in violation of the law because we have no dispensaries open, and they were promised us 35. So at this point, we're way far behind. But what this bill will do is will actually change the caregiver ratio so one caregiver can grow for up to 10 patients. So it'll create immediate access now.
Create a market so you can actually have a choice. You can find someone to help get access. It will also protect people employment so they don't get fired for being a medical marijuana patient. Protect their children, right?
Protect
Make sure
children.
they don't lose child custody. It does a number of other great things. It's like
Protects
from the
resident.
patients up. They went around to the community. We've been talking about it a long time, and they took all the feedback from everyone and said, how can we make the best law? Why can't we make it like Rhode Island or Maine or even better? And that's what they're doing.
Why were they able to do it in Rhode Island so quickly and can't?
They didn't. It took some time. They started earlier. That's how it was. And the other thing they did differently is they started through the State House. So those guys at the State House were the ones who did it, and they're more willing to fix it and make it better with the feedback. At the State House, you kind of have this confrontational thing where the people did it, the State House didn't. So now they have to. Now they're like, oh, we don't know what to do. We they've been ignoring us for decades. So now maybe they will do something because we really need them to do something, as you see.
Well, all I can say is I'm raising my hand, so call on me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I appreciate you having me in tonight.
Thank you, Bob.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for coming.
No, you guys are great. Just
No.
Right.
Exactly.
So how can we reach hundreds and thousands of patients that we're registering? I mean, they've shut down the caregivers. We had people like Bill Downing, who was a caregiver for about 1,200 patients and was told to cease and desist. And people did the right thing. He registered each patient.
He did. He stuck by the law. He even had to sue him, and it didn't work out in court. Unfortunately, the DPH apparently can do what they want, and they don't care that they're hurting people.
I think I would say one other thing in listening to Dr. Uma talk here in the last couple of sentences that you had. This is a very complicated issue, and the more I hear about it, the more complicated it becomes. My instinct is to calm down and focus on the stuff that's really important, and I think that's one of the challenges of, am I making myself clear?
No, it is. Yeah, I get you.
So many things.
Yeah, there's
like
a lot
you
to
said.
take in.
That, there's caregivers.
Yeah.
They're just.
Let's keep it this. We need access. We need you to be able to get the medicine that you need. That's as simple as that.
I'm hooked
pain.
up. Okay.
Yeah. So we are going to take a break. We've gone we've been going and going and going.
Thank you all
we
very
want to
much.
cut it a few minutes ago, but we didn't want to let you go, Bobby. So we are the Young Jurks. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be back.
See you at the State House.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we'll see you
at the State House.
Or whatever.
We're going to go get our picture taken with Bob Lobel on the way out and give him a big hug. So we'll be back in like 10 minutes.
Young Jurks.
WEMF Radio, presented by the Sound Museum, Boston.
Healthy Heady Lifestyle is a team of passionate individuals dedicated to providing tools, resources, and information to people interested or curious in using cannabis for their health. Healthy Heady Lifestyle can help you with everything from information on obtaining a letter of recommendation, finding the best vape for you to use, customized consultations, and everything in between. You can find Healthy Heady Lifestyle on Facebook and Instagram or on the web at healthyheady.com or give them a call at 617-231-6363.